Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And then, in celebration of our last series of the day, bienvenidos a todos los aficionados que están viniendo por los Latinos that are playing in our series today. We got Newbie representing Golden Guardians, and of course, Josecito on FlyQuest Academy as well. It's going to be a battle of just incredible teams going over, and I need to ask, what, Cubby doesn't understand either, so hopefully someone can answer. What is this tuki? I see a lot of tuki frog spam, and no one has answered it. So if you can at either of us on Twitter and just explain the meaning behind it and fill us in, that way we can get some context clarity on that. But this is gonna be awesome, man. I'm expecting to see a lot of fuego on the rift between both of these teams, as both Golden Guardians and FlyQuest, respectively, are on hot streaks here.
And I think for FlyQuest, they went 7-0 as an org last week, flip-flopping their rosters, right? And special shout out to Kumo, who, by the way, no longer on double duty. We've got the new top laner for FlyQuest Academy making their debut today. That is going to be Philip. Competitive history being Radiance, this split in Proving Grounds, a team that didn't have a lot of success. And then also XTGN, or LBGN, the top laner for that squad that featured a mid laner that went by CP Freeze, now known as Bradley, one of the best mid lane prospects and best prospects that we have in the circuit at the moment, currently active and playing. Gonna have to see if Philip can take up the mantle of that role, and has a tough test going up into Niles. And Rafa, I know that you caught up with one of the coaches of FlyQuest, Toyota, to talk more about how they were incorporating Philip into the roster this week.
Yeah, obviously the environment for FlyQuest has been great. Having a 7-0 week, both in their academy and LCS, does make morale really nice. They have also, as you stated earlier in the day, they stated that they have secured first seed in academy, and the FlyQuest Academy roster that is now playing in LCS, they're going to be playing this weekend again. They came off of a 3-0, which it's not like they played against scrub teams either. They took down Cloud9, who we sent to MSI to represent North America. So that is a huge feat for FlyQuest, who, majority of those members did come from Cloud9 Academy's roster just last year. So just being able to see a lot of those players step up, everyone's feeling great. And because the environment is so nice, Philip has been able to slot in, and you've had, people like Loyota, Fantix, and Sharks, who are all doing what they can to make sure that he is assimilated and accommodated for, and kind of catch up to speed for this first series.
Yeah, because this is Philip's Academy debut.
Yes.
So a very green player that we have going up against Niles, who, I know I talked with Niles beforehand as we kind of split up the duties of who has which team, and Niles said, for Golden Guardians, we've had great early games. Our issue has just been making sure that we turn those early games into wins. He feels like all the games they played the last 2 or 3 weeks have been winnable, and the ones that they have lost has been on them. And man, what a test they have this week going up against FlyQuest Academy, because Jose Deodo and Palafox, they were making statements in their academy games last week with the early games they had. Jose Deodo is also working really well with Dreams, something that we weren't really seeing them do on the LCS stage, but they did a great job of that on the academy stage last week, and we want to see more of that from this squad. We have to see if they can take down Golden Guardians Academy, who 9-15 are sitting 8th in the standings, I should say, but 7 out of their 9 wins have come in the last 3 weeks, so they've been really starting to turn things around.
Yeah, for FlyQuest, they are having their green top laner come into play, but, something you mentioned, Cubby, I think, playing in Academy not only gave them a lot of their confidence back that they desperately needed to just continue playing at the level that they had expectations for themselves, but also it's a nice kick in the butt to say, all right, you know what? It's go time now. We need to start playing for real as a team. Yeah. And, as you pointed out, Dreams and Jose Deodo being able to work hand in hand is something that we haven't really seen in the LCS split, but coming, in the Academy split, better late than never, as, I'm going to hold my reservations. We're going to talk about Viego being locked in for Golden Guardians Academy. Powerful flex pick for either Yumbi, Rosethorn, or Nas, respectively. FlyQuest going a little bit for lane dominance on this Callisto for Johnson, as we're going to see the Volibear. If this is for Jose Deodo, this is going to be the return of Jose Deoso, as we saw in last week against Cloud9.
And not only is this a pick that he played to great success against C9, it's also a takeaway from Rosethorn, who most played is Volibear, and the most success the Golden Guardians has had is when Rosethorn is on that Volibear pick. So FlyQuest Academy doing some of their scouting. I do want to return to the point, though, that you mentioned about them playing well. Sometimes the kick in the butt is what you need. That's exactly what FlyQuest, this squad, needed, and it worked out well for them, for both squads. I know that the League Night podcast that we do over at League Day, the audio-only broadcast for the LCS, we had on Raz last week. Tonight we're going to have Travis Gafford on with Kelsey Moser, who hosts that. And we said we felt like the FlyQuest Academy squad were playing better than the LCS squad, and that this swap was just best for the org at the time. And hey, going 3-0, they proved us right. Stick with a hot hand if you're FlyQuest, right? Keep playing them until things look bumpy. And meanwhile, for this squad playing in Academy, they looked much improved. It looked like a lot of the gaps in their play, they were woken up. And we're going to have to see if that sticks around for this week as getting further into the draft. Prismal, his champion pool is already shining because that Wukong, it's one that is not going to be piloted by Newbie. Prismal will have his hands on that. Newbie will be on the Senna. And all of a sudden, Golden Guardians, they have a strong bot lane, one that can brawl, one that can get on top of Kalista, make her life really hard. And then Golden Guardians win against CLG last week. They played the Senna Wukong into CLG's Kalista, and that's what drove them to the win. It's really tough for Kalista to team fight against a Wukong.
Yeah, Senna Wukong, apart from that game, was something that we saw a little bit at the either last year, near the tail end. I saw a lot of it really gaining traction over in the European scene over at LEC before it eventually made its way here to NA. But, FlyQuest Academy kind of picking up on with some good scouting here, saying that, hey, there's a lot of melee champions here in Viego and Wukong, and you know what works really well with melee champions? Sejuani. So getting rid of that ban as, having access to melee champions in side lanes and of course mid lane, and it makes your skirmishing a lot potentially more powerful since you have access to permafrost and Gangplank. This is a Nile special that is being taken away as FlyQuest Academy. I think they already have lined up their pick for Philip in either this Renekton or this Volibear, and knowing Niles, he is someone that could have taken that counter pick into his favor.
Niles, of course, known for his Gangplank play, also known for his Jace. That is a matchup that's pretty reasonable into the Renekton. And I'm surprised, I should say, Golden Guardians, they have to get magic damage into their composition. And I'm curious to see where that's going to come from, as FlyQuest now have to reveal most likely their support to counter that Senna Wukong that we expect to go bot lane for Golden Guardians. This is a lane they have run in the past, as supports everything on the table for them. Wouldn't be surprised if just the Nautilus here is, oh boy, the new Tom Kench making his debut on the Academy stage.
We saw the debut of Tom Kench actually in semi-pro just a couple nights ago.
Yeah, this might be TK top. So if it is TK top, we'll have some more info on this as we have done our prep.
Yeah.
This is a flex still.
Yeah. Support in top lane, it has been played. Spurge, a.k.a. Gamsu, over on 100 Thieves Next, played it into the top lane. And then for TSM Amateur, they played it in the support role for Dawnbray. As Tom Kench can be in either roles, either with low economy in the support role or for a lot of economy into a solo lane role into the top lane. It doesn't work, and we'll explain and get into the thick of his rework as Golden Guardians Academy looking to round out their composition. Niles on Ornn. This is something that we saw a lot of during his time at Maryville University last year, and people might think, oh, why are you putting Niles on a tank? Dude, Niles plays Ornn like a carry, man.
Niles, this is his go-to tank, one that he feels like he can brawl with. And I'm curious to see what FlyQuest do with this flex Tom Kench. They can put it top. They can have it at support. They can still flex around the Renekton. As Rise, I think, should be noted for Yunbi. That is a signature pick for him. And Palafox, we've saw earlier in the day, we saw Rise be picked into Silas to shut down Saligo in our first match. And now Palafox taking the Silas, saying, I see an Ornn. I have an Ornn horn at my disposal. That's all I need to take this champion. As that will be a big option for FlyQuest as the fights continue. And I'm curious if we get a lane swap for Palafox and Philip to try and get that Silas into the Ornn matchup. It's very good for Silas.
Yeah, there's some damn good ultimates for Silas to take as well outside of the Call of the Forge God. You have Wukong ulti for the Cyclone. Dawning Shadow is decent as well for providing a little bit of reprieve and second wind in these fights if they extend longer. But Palafox and Silas, when we talk about FlyQuest, when they were still, this roster was still playing in the LCS, Palafaker, two champions, LeBlanc and Silas, those were the two that you had to watch out for. And the way that Palafox destroyed the Academy competition last week on some champions, I can only imagine that Yumbi better be ready to step up to the plate, because this is This is one of Yoonbi's comfort champions when you think back to his time in the Honda Scouting Grounds on Team Ocean. He carried a lot of fights on this pick, so this is really... yeah. Huge pentakill. So I have to imagine that this is going to be a battle of comfort picks in the mid lane here.
And I think the big thing that we're going to have to focus on is actually the junglers and how they impact that matchup. Because once again, trading flash for flash against Ryze always opens up the window for Palafox to land those chains, try and go all in on Ryze moving forward. And Palafox, I think one of the reasons that they went for the Sylas, even though it is a disadvantageous matchup in the 1v1, Volibear does win the early jungle matchup. So fully expecting action around the mid lane, Rafa. As we get a nice view at some of the wildlife here, as more wildlife might be being hunted.
My God,
what a
Dreams!
setup.
What a cheeky level 1, and the flash over from Johnson. They're trying to get the damage down on the Prismal with the Ignite, but a little ambitious. I think that after the flash, it was originally burned by Prismal, but FlyQuest. Okay, that's a damn cool opener.
A new one, as this is an undiscovered champion, Tahm Kench, right? A couple more options available to you. Love to see Dreams using that, as they do get the early flash out of Wukong. It is a lane that with Wukong, you have to try and brawl that lane out early to win. Tahm Kench support does have the ability to do that, but as Wukong picks up levels, more armor, more regen, it's so difficult to move that Senna Wukong lane, and so we're going to have to see if FlyQuest have any early ability to do that. And I think all eyes, once again, on the mid lane as both junglers starting on the top side. And Jose Diodo, we're going to read a lot about the pathing, whichever camp he goes to next. As if he goes Krugs, that might open the 3-camp mid, whereas if he goes Raptors, that means that he's probably going to try and get to the bot side and zoom towards that bot crab where the Kalista Tahm should have priority.
Not only
Krugs.
Priority for crabs, but... as he would be able to end up onto the bottom side of the map if between Johnson and Dreams wanted to stack a wave, as they're currently getting pushed in at the moment between Prismal and Newbie, but keeping the wave relatively in front of their tower, it would make it easier for Jose Diodo to be able to punish a Monkey who does not have flash at the moment, as Jose Diodo is always willing to be able to use his own flash to close the distance and pick up first blood in the early actions of the game.
I think they're all about trying to find this Ryze as Yoonbi understanding the timer. He's playing this line very cautiously. When we saw this matchup earlier in the day, we saw the Ryze for takeover. He was able to get in a Raptor ward, whereas Yoonbi playing this matchup in the middle of the lane. This might open up a window for Volibear to trade his flash for Ryze's. That's one where you're trading up every single time, and they are going to try and set that up here as Jose Diodo already looking for action mid.
Rosethorn is currently clearing out his bottom side jungle on
his
red buff as Jose Diodo,
wow.
The flash comes out.
That's so big. They didn't even need to commit Volibear flash. So Yoonbi just had to burn that for free. And Jose Diodo happy to delay his jungle timer for that. Good play from FlyQuest early.
Jose is just going to make his way towards the bottom half of the jungle as well. Going to go for this blue buff as Dreams gets a knock-up onto Newbie, but Jose's going to have to respond to this as Rosethorn makes his presence onto the bottom side of the map. Johnson, he did not have flash from the level 1 skirmish as he tried to close the distance originally onto Prismal, but it's an easy punish for Golden Guardians.
Good play from Rosethorn, committing that flash to guarantee the kill. We'll lose both crabs for it, but well worth it. As we are going to get a replay of Yoonbi as Palafox burns the flash by himself. So Yoonbi, the minute he saw Jose Diodo, just realizing that he had to flash, is the second replay coming in. The fast forward FlyQuest, they're trying to crash this, trying to save pressure for Jose Diodo, get that crab for free, but Rosethorn beats him on the timer, skipping 2 camps. They didn't have a ward for this, didn't scout this. Dreams goes in, instantly gets turned around by Golden Guardians. Nice play from them.
Hey, remember when I talked about adaptive jungle pathing? We finally get to see it, Cubby. No, just standard full clears. We're seeing adaptations and just, critical thinking from both junglers being displayed as they try to punish the fact that, summoners being burned. It's easier to go for as Jose Diodo, Yoonbi and Rosethorn are here. I couldn't tell who got the crab out. Looks like Jose Diodo. Oh yeah, Rosethorn was able to smite it away from Jose Diodo.
Jose had he burned smite, somewhat panicked to try and get himself some more health, which against that combo really can't blame the Volibear for. As Volibear will finally get the reset, Rosethorn returning to his camps. And overall, a good start here for Golden Guardians. The fact that they were able to pick up a kill on that bot side, get Wukong a little bit of reprieve in the early stages of this matchup, where Wukong really struggles against the Kalista, will pick up as that lane goes on. And Golden Guardians, with their scaling, the fact that they have an Ornn, they have a Ryze, going up against FlyQuest's team, the only scaling they really have is going to be that Sylas. So really up to Golden Guardians to make it towards the later stages of the game. If they do, I think it really favors them. And the fact they're up early against FlyQuest, good news for this squad. That talking with Niles, he said, our early games are good. We know how to play early game. We've been winning the majority of our early games. The thing is that we're throwing these leads. So let's see if Golden Guardians can take that deep breath, say no a couple times, and beat the squad that's been in LCS for the majority of the season. Golden Guardians, a lot of steps to do, but a good start for them.
Yeah, one of the good things there, as our observer was able to own in on, it's a nice freeze from Niles, as Philip had to take the long walk of shame back, missing out on 15 CS down and a lot of experience. Niles was going to be able to hit level 6 off of that, thanks to the pressure gank from Rosethorn as well. He's going to take his recall in. We'll have to see if he decides to save his teleport or not, as FlyQuest. They're not. It's only been 1 kill. They still have a flash timer to punish on Yumbi, as you see Jose Diodo waiting patiently right below that mid lane, trying to see if Palafox can close the gap.
Yunbi, of course, no flash, so this is why you blow Ryze's flash early, try and get the setup, and Yunbi respecting it. Meanwhile, Rosethorn is bottom. Do they have dreams? Oh, it doesn't change. Yeah, the stun doesn't land from Rosethorn. It was just a little bit outside of the range. Dreams is able to walk out alive and save his life. Jose Diodo doesn't find anything mid lane. He's going to take some time to take some chicken nuggets, some pollitos, for our Latino fans in the chat, as going to loop back around. Maybe he decides to go for a counter gank, as Palafox might be able to get the push down. Has teleport. He might just look for a collapse here. There is an award for him to teleport to Jose Diodo. He's going to go through the tri-bush. It's going to scare off the members of Golden Guardians. Nice respect flash coming out from Newbie there. This might open up a window where Dragon can be taken, whereas Philip. Can he get this one on Niles?
Does Niles win this one? Meanwhile, we have another skirmish in the bot lane. Jose Diodo eso with Palasorito. They're able to take down Rosethorn.
Good play coming out of FlyQuest as Philip trades flashes. He gets Niles TP, and this will open up the Dragon going over for free to the side of FlyQuest. Much needed with the Kalista comp, having that bot lane priority and continuing to try and set Wukong behind. As the game goes on, it is so difficult for Kalista to play into this matchup. There are so many champions that just want to attack Kalista, including the Wukong. Also hard to navigate the Rune Prison being empowered against Ryze. But the fact that they're at least keeping Wukong down, trying to buy more time where Kalista is very powerful, much needed for FlyQuest. As also Philip pulling in the Niles. We'd like to see that early from the newest member on the squad as we get a replay. They catch Rosethorn, and they really don't even need Jose Diodo's help, as he's going to take the kill for himself. All chat, all me, as Palafox didn't do any work there, as they end up taking the kill.
It was a dynamic duo collaborative effort.
Team effort.
Between, yeah. And by the way, just to fill you in, Fox in Spanish is Soro. So if you ever want to give a little bit of flair, you say Palasorito or Palasoro. So it's just a little bit of Spanish 101 as we are eclipsing
You continue to prove to me that you are far more cultured than I am. So I'm a big
well,
fan.
I mean, I am Peruvian, so like
yeah,
it comes
you're
with
cultured.
Yeah. But I'm trying to say that I can, give you a little bit of culture. It doesn't mean that you're just out from the get-go. As
Spanish 4 didn't do me any favors in high school. I think that's what I've learned so far.
Okay.
We're going to have to dive into this one as, oh boy, big commit coming out. No flash on Newbie.
And Newbie, no flash either. It should be able to get enough Ren stacks. Now Prismal, he doesn't have enough damage to be able to fight back against Johnson Dreams. Meanwhile, FlyQuest have bullied the rest of the Golden Guardian members away from the Rift Herald that they started up. Niles has, or Palafox was able to take away the Call of the Forge God as well from Niles.
Got it.
What?
Yeah, he got it. And the ult, I don't know exactly what happened, but the key is, can Golden Guardians even step in and take it? They're trying. But that Rift Herald is for Golden Guardians. Can they get it?
I don't know about this one. Okay, Philip is in the backline. He's popping the Dominus. And it looks like Rosethorn is caught in between a rock and a hard place, but they're able to trade one back onto Philip. And Yumbi might have enough damage. Jose Diodo has to split away from Palafox. Realm Warp is going to come out. But Palafox, Palasorito, eso! But Niles still falls, or Niles is able to pick up the kill onto Jose Diodo.
This is awkward.
Streams. Oh, okay. Just going to get licked. Nice.
Oh boy, it's Tukey time in the chat for Dreams.
Baby.
Yeah, it's Tukey time for Dreams. One lick, all he needs to get to the center of the lollipop. Takes down Yunbi for himself as Golden Guardians. I think the indecisiveness there, biting them in the butt a little bit as FlyQuest, they take the initiative, they force the play, Importantly, though, Niles picking up 2 kills. That's big for that top lane matchup because Ornn heavily outscales Renekton as we are getting a second look at the bot lane. Of course, Newbie didn't have flash. Prismal Newbie split. Love the recognition from Dreams and pulling the trigger early on this new champion being debuted here on the Academy stage. Whereas the Rosethorn, this is a interesting moment where I believe he flashes in.
Oh, he flash smited and then heart breaks out. Oh my god, I didn't even see that. I'm so sorry, Tim. I should have given you better respect. That's pretty damn good. Rosethorn does pay for his life for it, though.
Yeah, the big key here is that fighting in the choke, Yunbi was able to get a ton of damage out as Jose Diodo going for the Viego. Look at the stacked members and the damage that Ryze was able to do. That's what keeps the fight in favor of Golden Guardians as we'll have to think about that as the game goes on. Palafox, I respect the attempt here to try and go for the execute. Very close. It's almost guesses the flash of Yunbi, but not quite. As Dreams gets the love lick, and now Philip, welcome to Academy.
Well, Philip, you have to learn the hard way sometimes. They're not going to take it easy on you. So, you know, as Philip is getting adjusted and learning the ropes is definitely the hard way, as, you know, it is to be expected. They try to get him onto a comfort pick, but Niles about 20 CS up. And FlyQuest is just doing their best to try to accelerate their lead through the bottom half of the map while Philip can still provide a little bit of utility if he can find decent flanks or threaten in the backline or just be a giant mid shield thanks to that dominance as FlyQuest still keeping it even with Golden Guardians.
This is a trade that FlyQuest is willing to take, getting gold on their Callista early. As you said, Renekton can still be a role piece as the game goes on. But Ornn getting as big as he is concerning for the side of FlyQuest. As Niles, I think, looking at that new item, right? The chains coming in for Ornn rather soon, and going to mitigate a lot of the damage that FlyQuest can deal on what is a very low damage team composition, Rafa. And as Golden Guardians buy time as they scale, it's an even game at this point. And while there is a big gold difference among the bot laners, Niles trying his best to make up for that in the top lane, and might be enough to bridge the gap for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, Anathema's Chains is not going to come in, but hey, we talked about utility. Philip can just flash W stun onto you, but he gets back in the game.
Good play from Philip, utilizing that lane priority. Makes a very impactful gank, and guess what? FlyQuest, you know how you can break scaling? Just stack up dragons. That kill going to enable them to take a dragon for free. As Niles getting more gold on the Ornn. Not exactly the member that you'd love to get a ton of gold on. Of course, Ornn can make good use of that, but isn't going to be that damage carry. Going to be absorbing the damage from FlyQuest. As FlyQuest actually not going to take the dragon, going to try and reset. And might open up a gap for Golden Guardians. So a lot burned on that play. If Golden Guardians walk away with this dragon, that's huge for them.
Whoa.
They reset.
All right, well, I'm a little surprised.
I am too. Dragon going over. And that buys Golden Guardians at least 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, well, as I struggled to get over my moment of shock and disbelief, FlyQuest are getting back onto the map. They get a nice power spike for Palafox with this Everfrost as they're looking to run them down. There's flash from Jose Diodo. He also has Stormbreaker as well, casting down the Lightning Shield. The teleport is coming in as Yunbi is also here with the Realm War trying to join into the fight. Golden Guardians don't have all their members here as Philip, Niles already used Call of the Forge God, is going to force Philip away. And Palafox is going to try to find Yunbi, but he doesn't have Jose Diodo quite yet. He gets the Everfrost into the Kingslayer, and Jose Diodo now joins the fight. But the Dawning Shadow provides enough healing and shielding to give Rosethorn a little bit of safety back, as now he flashes in forward with the W. And Palafox doesn't have the Kingslayer to be able to come back up. And Rosethorn, oh my god!
Oh, and the root comes down. Dreams is down too, and Rafa, it all falls apart for FlyQuest. Jose Diodo and Palafox were not synced up going for that play. Rosethorn properly punishes them, and all of a sudden Golden Guardians 1.5k goalie with a scaling composition. Big time for them.
Well. Now, FlyQuest currently down in gold. Golden Guardians, you know, like you were talking about with Niles. A lot of times they're able to find early game leads as Palafox is going to try to punish Yunbi. He still has flash if he needs to get out, but it just might be too much damage coming out from Palafox as Yunbi gets a nice rune prison out, flashes away.
Denies the cannon. Worth also gets the flash out of Ryze. That's obviously the bigger cooldown. as Yunbi taking some notes about why that play might have went sour. Speaking of plays that go sour, Palafox hunting for Yunbi. Finds him. Ooh, this is so awkward because he's going out. Now Jose Dieto is going back in. He has to flash out, and the split call coming out of the mid-jungle duo from FlyQuest bites them in the butt. A beautiful flash stun from Rosethorn is what turns the play. Once it gets the reset, that's all but over. And this Viego for Golden Guardians picking up 2 kills. That's big time moving forward.
And they canceled the W as well for the Abyssal Dive.
The Toad was not able to unload. That's what happened.
Well, they're going to try to find another fight here. Nas has the flash away as being in that choke point when Palafox takes the call. The Forge God could have been dicey. Nas maintaining a full HP bar as well as we see. Prismal and Newbie just took down the first turret on the top side of the map. Or not the first turret, but one of the turrets on the top side of the map. It's now called. The Forge God comes out for Palafox. Goes a little wide. Niles and Newbie are able to evade danger. As now they're playing towards the top side where 4 members are currently invested.
And a big trade across the map as Johnson in this bot side. A lot of solo free time on this Kalista, who we're mentioning the fact that Kalista going to have a lot of troubles navigating Wukong, navigating Rise as the game goes on, but stacking gold on the Johnson can help bridge that. As Golden Guardians, though, with this Rift Herald, will finalize that mid-outer turret. And a lot of trading going on around the map. The fact that mid-turret falls for Golden Guardians, I think they trade up.
Yeah, for FlyQuest, the other thing that you pointed out, I want to really hammer home that when you have a Kalista as your main marksman, going up against something like an Ornn feels awful, especially when Ornn is this far ahead.
Well, also Wukong. Wukong just knocks you up twice in a fight, and as Kalista, if you aren't able to hop around, you can't get your job done. And that's exactly what Newbie and Prismal are going to be looking to do, as Divine Sunderer completed on both bot laners, and a Sunderer being completed for Wukong. Significant power spike. Wukong is now in the game, and yes, I know he's down 60 creeps, but these can be relevant as Niles trying to be shut down. Palafox, Jose Diodo, TP being committed.
The Forge God is available, gets the double knockup on Jose Diodo. Knockups on knockups, but the Stormbreaker comes out, run into Yunbi, but he gets the Realm Warp. He's able to get himself out alive, but Niles can't say the same as we have another fight erupting into the jungle. Newbie trying to keep them at bay as Prismal has to flash away after popping the Cyclone. Rosethorn looking for the W seal, but Fate's Call comes out, gives Dreams a way out alive. Dragon is going to be spawning about 40 seconds. Niles doesn't have teleport, but he can walk to the Dragon in time as FlyQuest going to take the recalls.
FlyQuest, once again, they're seeding the Dragon. They're recalling. They're going to reset late off the play. This will give Golden Guardians, once Niles gets back out onto the map, potential first say over the Dragon, something that FlyQuest desperately need. They're down gold. They have a comp that's better early. They need to fight this. And it seems like they're going top lane, trying to funnel gold onto Philip to catch him up, but he's already out of the game, Rafa. They need to put up a fight for this Dragon, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to do so with these resets.
Philip doesn't have teleport either. So he would have to take the long walk over there, but doesn't seem like both teams are not really eagerly biting for this third Dragon of the game, as Rosethorn should be able to solo it with Niles in his back pocket on the bottom side of the map.
They're trading it for gold. So FlyQuest, they realize, they say, hey, I don't think soul stacking is the way that we can win this game early. We need to get more gold on our side laners. So Philip, we're just going to give you some free time. You know that Ornn doesn't have TP, so he's got a group with the team. Crash some waves, deny some gold, catch us back up as FlyQuest. They lose the Dragon. The goldie is now only at 500 as they're trying to look for a place to make a strong stand as their team composition. This is the spike. This is where they feel at their best. The only champion that really bridges the scaling gap for FlyQuest is going to be Palafox on that Silas, but it's a lot to ask from him to try and make up for everything else as Niles gets out for free, still has the ult. And with Senna here, do we see a turn? Nope,
probably just trying to clear out the wave. Yeah. Well, they're going to try to commit to the turret. They still need the gold influx, as you already pointed out. FlyQuest are desperately looking for extra money to put into their bank accounts at the moment, because when they're at this point in the game and they're even with Golden Guardians, that's bad. They need to be the ones with the gold lead with this composition, because the time is slipping away for FlyQuest to really start finding a lead that they can accelerate through, because, like you said, Yunbi on this Rise is going to get big. Wukong is going to be big, and Niles on this Ornn is just going to be unkillable. I mean, realistically, outside of Palafox, who's going to kill Niles when he's just stacking all this armor. And Kalista is probably one of the worst AD carries that you can try to tank bust, because you can stack a bunch of spears, but it's just...
Yeah. It might be death by 1,000 cuts with the Kalista, right, with the run stacks. It's not the worst against tanks, but Johnson not opting for the tank shredding build, going for the Hurricane, as there are a lot of melee members for Golden Guardians. And as this game goes on, it's going to be very difficult for this Kalista to navigate these fights. The member that's very fed for FlyQuest. I think FlyQuest are in a little bit of trouble here, as I think they really need to cash in on this next Dragon fight or make a big play to try and open up things for the Baron. Notably, Palafox does have TP with Niles and can match the Ornn. As we are seeing Palafox in that top lane fixing the wave states, as Ornn wants to keep on matching Renekton, taking advantage of the fact that he has early armor and is working towards Anathema's chains as well, which will be a huge spike for Ornn. An incredibly efficient item, especially on Ornn, especially with 650 health. He gets 10% extra resistances in his kit, so even more efficient on him, where that item already 108% gold efficient to begin with. Very powerful for the Ornn, his Golden Guardians. It's even on the scoreboard, but we feel like they're in the lead at this point of the game, Rafa.
Yeah, considering how much of the scaling factor they have in their back pocket. I mean, anytime a scaling team is even, that means they're ahead. It's kind of the same rule that applies to whenever you're playing like Gangplank. It's like, oh yeah, as long as you're keeping even with your lane opponent, then you're doing fine, because you're going to get to the late game and they're not pressing their early game advantage. And for Golden Guardians right now, their eyes are around getting vision for this Baron at the moment. The Dragon is not going to be spawning for another couple moments, but for FlyQuest, their way back into the game has to be off the back of Jose Diota. He is the one that has a lot of mid-game damage at the moment with this Divine Sunderer Spike. The Stormbreaker does a lot of damage in the middle of the crater, so if he can time his engage well with Palafox, with Dreams, you can get a CC Wombo onto members like Yumbi and Rosethorn, who are somewhat relatively squishy at the moment, but they will be more durable as the game goes on.
Chains are finished for Niles. You have to believe that he's putting those on the Sylas, as he is opting for armor in his build. So taking away 30% of the damage that Sylas can deal to him, making Sylas more susceptible to CC as well. Pretty good here for Golden Guardians, as we're a minute 20 away from this Dragon. Both teams resetting, preparing for what will be a tense moment in this game. As once again, FlyQuest, they need to win these fights. They need to start taking advantage of where their champions are at the moment, to prevent what could be a scaling victory for Golden Guardians. And they are in the river first, so very important that FlyQuest are able to do this. And Palafox fixing this top lane does have a few TP options of wards that Golden Guardians have yet to clear out in their bot side jungle. And a ward that I'm looking at by the bot inner turret as well, so Palafox will have the option to have a very deep TP whenever he wants.
We scan over the bottom quadrant
They're
of the
shifting
jungle.
their power to Baron.
Oh, okay. Well, with Kalista, even though you can't shred tanks, you can
Hail Mary,
get through the Baron.
Yeah.
And we'll have to see what the ultimate decision is. The other thing, too, is that you have to go for picks as FlyQuest. You can't really straight up fight 5-on-5 brawl. You have to catch Golden Guardians by surprise, because otherwise the counter engage is so powerful, as he Realm Warp just to be able to get priority, and Golden Guardians are shoving FlyQuest back out of this choke point in the river in anticipation of this Dragon. Also, Diota flashes right onto Yumbi, but he flashes backwards, and now he has enough time. Dreams doesn't get to pop the Gray Shield, and he goes down. And now Golden Guardians, they're on the aggression. Johnson has just nowhere to go.
Yep.
We talked about how difficult it is to play as Kalista into this composition, and we see it unfold.
Oh, that exhaust Wukong on top of Kalista. I think Prismal might have taken 200 damage, as those arrows feel like banana peels being thrown at the Wukong. Not doing a lot of damage. In fact, he thrives in it, as Golden Guardians wipe the fight, take the Dragon, put themselves on Soul Point. And it ends up all being a bait in the end. FlyQuest, they thought they had Yunbi, but the flash away was all the Rise needed to create the space necessary for Prismal to get on top of Kalista. And once that happens, the fight is over.
Oh, man. The CC chain was almost good. Had the knock-up from the Abyssal Dive connected just a couple seconds earlier, it would have been potentially lights out on a Yumbi. But then the re-engage, the counter-engage from Golden Guardians is so devastating for FlyQuest, as they lose out on 2 members, they lose out on the Dragon, and now Golden Guardians, they're at Soul Point. And we didn't even mention this, Cubby, but to add on to the fact that FlyQuest is super hard for their damage dealers to actually deal with this front line, they now are staring at a potential Mountain Soul for this Golden Guardian squad.
2 Mountain Dragons already. It's a tough hill to climb, especially with Ornn, who, keep in mind, gets extra resistances with his passive right. So already even more efficient with the health stacking item, too, with the chains, as Yunbi just ulting whenever he can to rotate, be on time for this team, and Golden Guardians looking to put the finishing touches on this one. You can see the power of Wukong as the game goes on, and keep in mind, for the FlyQuest fans just watching, what is the Senna Wukong doing? It's something that Golden Guardians had played last week and practiced as Prismal's champion pool, something that COG cited as something that's difficult to plan for in the draft. Seems to have caught FlyQuest off guard as that early pick Callista. It's a counter that Golden Guardians are comfortable with, as they have to have Niles base. He has TP to answer the real Philip in the side lane, as we might have some more downtime on the map. I don't think Golden Guardians feel comfortable starting up the Baron. One of the downsides of the bot lane they have, Rafa, is that they don't do any damage to the Baron, so I think they're just waiting for the Dragon to fight, whereas FlyQuest don't feel like they can set up a Baron safely either.
Yeah, you're mostly relying on Yunbi to deal the sustained damage over time as newbie. There's a lot of Divine Sunderers on this roster for Golden Guardians, but that's nice burst damage. Not necessarily good sustained damage to take down this Baron as fast as they would like. So they're not going to take the chances. They definitely don't want to give FlyQuest any windows of opportunity to come back into this game, as they just can play slow. The later the game goes on, the more items that are stacked on top of the Golden Guardians roster, and they can play for Mountain Soul, which will be... could really feel like the last nail in the coffin, because once that Mountain Soul is secure for Golden Guardians, it's really difficult to imagine how FlyQuest can actually just get through this front line.
FlyQuest already looking for alternate solutions as Jose Diodo and Palafox trolling around in the top side of the map, trying to get control over the Baron, as there is still 2 minutes and 15 seconds until Dragon spawns. I think they're going to try and use the Baron to potentially get Niles to TP early to commit to losing a big summoner spell. These Golden Guardians are face checking. Oh boy.
Everfrost goes wide from Palafox as well. Rosethorn is now on the aggression.
Here we go.
Niles is popping the call. The Forge God is going to knock up Dreams as he spits out Johnson, gives him a little bit of extra shield. The Fate's Call is going to save his life as well. But that's 2 ultimates burned from FlyQuest already to get out of harm's way. I don't think it will be enough for Golden Guardians to start up the Baron, but they'll give them the opportunity to clear out some vision.
They still got Palafox's flash, and FlyQuest were able to get Niles' TP out. So just a trade going on. I think both teams have summoner spells they can now try and punish on this map state. Really important that Palafox did blow that flash on the Sylas. I think Golden Guardians will have their eyes out for that one as we continue. As Philip didn't join that fight, just crashed another wave in the bot lane. We'll reset, and Rafa, get ready for this dragon fight, because this is the game for FlyQuest. They cannot give away Mountain Soul. That is most certainly all that Golden Guardians needs to put the finishing touches on this one. Whereas FlyQuest, they have to prevent this, and they have to somewhat find a flank. They have teleport on both their solo laners. I want to see them set up a flank TP ward and try and get an angle onto Yunbi, who will have flash by the time this dragon spawns, but maybe there's a window now.
Realm Warp
that
comes
is from
out.
Sylas.
His Palafox's Realm Warp. He got a massive amount of damage onto Prismal, but he's able to get out thanks to the Seraph Gauge. Rosethorn finds the first reset onto Philip, and now Johnson is on the retreat. Jose Diodo has to be able to fight back with the Stormbreaker. They do find Rosethorn and Prismal in the back of it, but Niles is still here. He has the call of the Forge God. Palafox gets routed out. Yunbi picks up that one. And despite not having the smite advantage for this dragon, Jose Diodo is low on health, and he would have to play a dangerous game to try and deny the Mountain Soul away from Golden Guardians.
The early game did not go FlyQuest's way. They were not able to find enough advantages, and now they have to find something creative as Jose Diodo stunting towards the Baron. But this dragon spawns in 2 seconds, and Golden Guardians, they're going to start this one up. They have to try and keep the Voldibear out as they don't have smite. Can they do it?
Oh, well, they just wait for him to walk right in. Devour is there from Dreams to give Jose Diodo a little bit of reprieve. Teleport is coming in from Philip. Going to be able to join the fight. It's a nice abyssal dive. Gets a 2-man knockup into another knockup, but it's on to FlyQuest, but it might be enough. But just as I say that, look at Niles. Niles on this Ornn. We talked about it before. This isn't a tank. This is a carry pick from Niles. He does so much damage considering that he is just full armor, and they cannot deal with this guy, and he picks up the ace for Golden Guardians.
And not only was Niles pumping out the damage, but Rafa Yunbi on the rise. He survived with a sliver of HP, and the members of FlyQuest, the melee-heavy composition stacked up against Rise. Yunbi rips through them on his favorite champion, as Golden Guardians, they take the Mountain Soul, now set their sights on the Baron. Most certainly should go over to their pockets as Golden Guardians are trying to knock out FlyQuest, knock them out of their win streak, and take down the first place team we have in Academy.
Golden Guardians off of the back of this Baron. Potentially just one more step before they can close out the game. As we look at how this fight erupted.
The double knockup from Dreams. Once again, this new Tahm Kench, rather unexplored. I can see the tech with the Kalista, but Niles and Yoonbi just stacked up here in this choke. Niles cannot be killed on the Ornn. He's gotten to that point and just buys the space that Yoonbi needs to put the finishing touches on that fight as he gets a double kill. And then Prismal's back as they just say hey to Palafox. He TPs into his doom as not even able to get off the second call of the Ornn Horn that Silas stole for himself as Golden Guardians trying to steal this game away from FlyQuest. I know that FlyQuest, when you talked to them last week, Rafa, Jose Diodo said that they felt like they shouldn't drop any games to these Academy teams, that they're better. And Golden Guardians, they've got different thoughts. They want to prove that even though they are an 8th place team at the moment, Niles said they've been playing better. They've been winning early games. 7 out of their 9 wins come in the last 4 weeks. They're looking to make that an 8th win in the last 4 weeks as they try to put the finishing touches on this game. As Yoonbi doesn't have flash, he's going to have to be very careful. They're going to have to peel for him very carefully in these team fights.
FlyQuest give respect to the Golden Guardians as the Baron minions are pushing into this inner turret. Philip is on the flank side. He's waiting for potentially a way to be able to get access to the backline, but really the only backline that exists at this point is Newbie and Yoonbi, who have deceptively decent amount of range as Newbie has been stacking up souls. I'm not sure what the soul count is at this point in the game, but he has a Divine Sunderer, he has Executioner's Calling, doing a decent amount of damage despite being the support and being a fasting Senna. For Golden Guardians, they're just continuously pushing in waves through the mid lane, the bot lane. The fight is just going to erupt. Stormbreaker comes out from Jose Diodo, but Call of the Forge God answers from Palafox, hits no one. Prismal finds the first kill, and it's the first reset for Rosethorn.
So
and it's
tanky.
all they're going to be needing as Prismal, with the Realm War, pushes off the rest of the members of FlyQuest. And this could be the last push that Golden Guardians will need to take down FlyQuest.
That's it. As Golden Guardians way too tanky in this game. Jose Diodo trying to cut the wave, but will give his life for it. As all they need is just one more minion to come in. As Golden Guardians, a beautiful game of League of Legends from them, Rafa. This unique Senna Wukong into the Kalista. They've proven they can win games on it before. They're going to prove it yet again against FlyQuest. They take game 1.
I think to further kind of show the importance of this win from Golden Guardians Academy, one can chalk it up to saying, oh, well, they didn't have Kumo. They had a new top laner. I think that is a huge discredit and disservice to how well Rosethorn played the early game. Being able to capitalize on a great timer, knowing that Jose Diodo had just spent time in the mid lane, only on 3 camps, wanting to go back into his jungle, gets the punch down onto Johnson, who didn't have flash. They burned it trying to get the kill onto Prismal, being overextended. When you take away Kalista's ability to snowball in the early game, I mean, especially into that composition, Kalista can't do a damn thing. You have to buy a lot of time for her to stack spears before she really is a threat to anyone. And it really was a team effort, not just a disparity in the top lane.
And I love the fact that they have a game plan into Kalista. This is something we've seen Golden Guardians rinse and repeat. If they see an early Kalista, they love to slam Senna Wukong into it. They've done it before. And Prismal, I know he got very far behind early, was forced to level 1 skill W, which feels terrible on the Wukong, was down a lot in early farm, but once you finish the Divine Sunder, it just doesn't matter. You get on top of the Kalista, and all the extra armor you get from your passive and the plated steel caps, Wukong can tank that, and all he does is just spin to win, and that's exactly what Golden Guardians did off the back of Prismal's unique counter pick and some good map play coming out from them in this one.
All right, well, FlyQuest will be answering on the blue side as we get ready for Game 2. So this is going to be our last game of the day, folks. You definitely don't want to miss it because I want to see if FlyQuest have an answer to be able to come back against Golden Guardians or if they will be successfully the first team to get a 2-0 on FlyQuest this season.